Okay, today is weird. I took off my headphones because they're terrible. They were being worse than actually no headphones. So that's why I'm choosing no headphones. I'm not gonna be able to hear things today. We have poor music, as usual. Oh, I don't need this keyboard overlay there. We'll put that there. Oh, thank you for the headpats. We will find... Where did I leave those? Right there. I need to get around to making this more automatic. Yoink. Yes. Alright. So, I think this... So I probably want to turn this down a bit so that it isn't competing with my voice for volume. Right? Because it's going to be left on while we stream because it'll be just, nice background music. I won't be able to hear it, unfortunately, because right now I'm not wearing headphones. And the reason for that is if we look over here, you'll see how when I do RF kill list, it doesn't say Bluetooth. My computer just doesn't think I have Bluetooth for some reason right now. So I can't use my Bluetooth headphones, which are nice and awesome usually. And the only wired headphones I have were being terrible and I hated them. So we're going with the no headphones tonight. And I'll just try and pay extra close attention to what's going on over in my activity feed to make sure I get all the stuff that's happening. And then after stream, I will fix things. If I have time tonight. It's already gonna be pretty late. But, we're gonna be working on my little ref suite. I've been trying to make a new model for myself. And so we've been... Or when I say we, I mean I. Is this not plugged in? My pretty little... Oh boy, oh boy. There we go. So, yeah, I've been trying to make this. It's not easy. You can probably tell it's kind of difficult, actually. Because I don't actually know what I'm doing. This is the eyes there. It's a lot of stuff going on. Because it kind of needs to be. We'll probably want to... What's on this layer? Nothing yet. Okay, this is where I left off then. So... It's gotta be the same... Gotta be this distance, basically. Right? From here down to there is the distance I want to take note of right now. Alright, because that'd be the same as this distance right here. Because it has to be, otherwise it'd be a different size, you know? So we're going to put a little marker there to show that that's the point we're going to. Then we've got to kind of just probably want to put in that. Let's see. Something like that, perhaps? Like I said, I don't actually know what I'm doing. This is partially studying anatomy for me. I'll learn by doing and all that. I don't think that's a terrible start, though. I do think we can see here that this doesn't line up with there. So it's obviously not correct. What we can do is we'll take this box maker. Just go like... That's still in erase mode. We'll go like that. Go a little bit... Hang on a second. I forget sometimes that when you have the mirror on, it mirrors all the stuff. I thought there was no stream today. I'm glad there is one. I'm glad you were glad. Yeah, like I said, there's been some issues going on. So originally I was trying to set up sound alerts because some people wanted them and I thought they'd be a fun little way of encouraging bits and stuff. So I wanted to set those up, but then I was also like, so it all started when I chose to clean out my computer more because my family has this nice little air gun type thing. It's not quite compressed air, it's mechanical. So I cleaned out my computer of pretty much all the dust that was in there to hopefully cool it down a bit. It's not helping a whole lot right now, it looks like. Hopefully the RAM I ordered will. And I don't like to be spending the money on the RAM, but it's better that I do than to not to. Basically, I got so distracted and I did my best to keep on doing things, and I was thinking about stream the whole time. I don't know why I've done this. I'm getting rid of it. We're starting over. Basically, my headphones aren't working and I was spending like the last hour trying to get them to work, and that's why you thought they were no stream. Okay. Yeah, I'm rambling a bit because I'm still in problem solving mode, and so my mind's working a bit faster than normal. I suppose we've got to figure out proportions here. These arms here are thinner than they should be. Oh, I'm on the eraser, that's why I can't draw. Silly. So these arms are kind of thinner than they're going to be, because if you see this is a little bit thinner than that. So we'll fix that later. We've got to, mostly right now, we've got to make sure that we go here. Right. We've got to make sure that the proportions stay, like this here, since we know that the hips go around, or rather around here, since this should be vaguely circular, we should be able to say with relative confidence that this will be about the same. Hang on, let's also just slide it over horizontally so we know it's consistent. Then let's draw in this here. Also, let me know if there's anything wrong with music or me or any of the audio stuff, because like I said, I can't hear any of the stuff y'all are hearing. So right now, if I... Damn it, hi Soxus now. Audio is great. I'm glad you think so. I have no idea. This stream is very anxiety inducing for me because I have no idea what's going on. It's good to see you though, Sox. If I bring... I'm just gonna be trying to work on my art, and I'm gonna be paying attention to chat, of course, and my activity feed. But I have no audio cues at all for what's going on, so it's a bit spooky for me. Even though it's after Halloween. How rude, right? Anyhow, we have our approximate waist of shoulders, waist, and hips. I mean, it technically would be a little bit higher up, I suppose. Alright, we can measure this to there instead. It's basically the same, but just a little more centered. And the reason I pay attention to this is because somebody mentioned, so I showed this to some people on Blue Sky, right? A little bit ago, and they said to change the proportions a tiny bit. I had the hips a bit wider, I had some things changed. I love this, I'm gonna try drawing along with you. I'm terrible at drawing people. I am so terrible at drawing people. So this face here is the best face I've ever drawn in my life, probably. And so rather than actually drawing it from scratch, I actually just like brought in the, where did I put the first one? I just brought it in here so I could draw over it and basically trace my own work. Because I'm like, I can't replicate that freehand, that quality. That's the best thing I've ever done, essentially. So I rotated it here. I say rotate as though it's a 3D thing. I tried drawing it again here, and I think I did pretty well at copying the style. But yeah, it's hard. People are the hardest thing to draw. I mean, other than probably like animals. So hips would be like... This is so difficult. And this knee is kind of weird. we're going to ignore that, actually. We're gonna fix this later. This is, like, first draft of the body, essentially. This is all so that I can make a 3D model for myself, because you see how I have this lovely one here. But this one I made in Vroid, and Vroid is amazing, and everyone who uses Vroid is awesome. But I think it'd be super cool if I made something myself for myself, because that way people can't really tell me that I took the easier way out, you know? Because I don't like people being able to belittle my accomplishments, even though I do that to myself more than anyone else does. So doing it myself sort of guarantees that people, whatever criticisms they have, I can address them knowing full what decisions went into it. But something like one thing I'm having difficulty with right now is when I see a line like this, my instinct is to go around it, when really that's where the limit is, you know? It should be going like that. We'll just start like this, right? That's sort of the line it goes. Well, it's tricky. You're so right, Socks. People are so hard to draw. Because you'll see, while I have it in these two sections, it's sort of more like 3 lines. And then there's the breasts, which are always so difficult. Like, if you see someone... I'm so silly. I was about to say, if you see someone who's done these well, you should take the time to appreciate it. And then I'm like, wait a second. That sounds ridiculous. And lewd. How dare I? I promise I'm an artist and I'm appreciating them from an aesthetic perspective. Let's see. But yeah, it's especially at this full angle that I'm trying to draw. I don't quite know how I should have them sit, how far apart. Because this here is technically, like this here. So this is partially the side of the figure, right? So if I were to draw a box, the box around the figure here would look like that, right? So this here is their side, which makes it tricky because I have to figure out what this area is, you know? Because that's the only area I should be seeing here, right? And the only reason I'm able to use this line that I measured here is because I'm assuming that it's pretty round, and so that rotating won't change it that much. The shoulder between the part between the shoulder and neck may come out a little narrow for clothing / accessories. Between the shoulder and neck. This, I was just, I stuck out my own arm, essentially, for that part, and I noticed that it really just follows the line of the collarbone, you know? Like, it just follows along there. So I just sort of tried to draw that out, and I also saw that it did a bump. I don't necessarily know how to do it at all, right? I don't know anything, really. I'm just trying to get something in. This is like first draft. I'll make it better once I get it all down, you know? Once I have everything down, then I do pass over it again, and I'll refine it. For now, we just want to have everything we want to draw on the page. Then we'll make it better, then we'll make it better. Then it'll be good. Eventually, one day. Someday, maybe. So, if I try and... I mean, it's basically like that, right? But with that, I don't know anything either. I'm just imagining fitting maid frills and collar there. I trust the process. Well, if you think about it, that's pretty fitting to the neck, though, wouldn't it be? Because if I go like this, then it'd be like that, you see? And then if we have the poofy arm sleeves, it'd be sort of like that, right? So, you're probably not wrong, but I'm just doing based on what I could observe from my own arm, sticking it out like this. Or, you guys can't quite see that, but sticking my own arm out, and that's what I could observe, is this sort of phenomenon. which is a very interesting thing. It's usually sort of this concavity. You know, it's always... So, I'm gonna go on a bit of a tangent here. I've been having fun in math class, because my calculus class, we do a lot of things with derivatives and stuff, right? And so I think it's super cool that you can find the curvature of a line with just the equation, you know? So you have f of x, then you have the derivative of f of x, and the derivative of the derivative of f of x. And this one tells you, like, points on this line, essentially, right? Then this one, basically, inputting a value on f of x gives you a value on this line. But then the derivative of f of x actually tells you whether it's increasing or decreasing. So a positive value on the first derivative will say, okay, over here, for example, the first derivative would be positive. Over here, it would be negative. Over here, it would be positive. And I think that's pretty cool. So you already know what areas it's going up and down. And the derivative is 0 at those 2 points because that's where the tangent line is horizontal. And then the second derivative is even cooler because this one will tell you... I don't fully understand it yet, I'm going to be honest. But this one tells you about the concavity, right? So this one, it says, if this is positive, if the concavity is positive, then it should be this part. So you'll know that from here onwards, it's shaped like this. And then over here, where I'm assuming it... No, I think... So, one way it is either... One way is like this, and the other way is like this. Right? And I forget which is which, because it's just like one or the other. But basically, if the second derivative is one of them, then you know it's curved one way. If the second derivative is the opposite one, you know it's curved the other way. When it smiles, it's plus. Thank you, Pentapodes. You're smart, you're smart. You understand, you understand. You think? Probably. Then there's what's called inflection points, which are where it changes from positive, or, yeah, where it changes from this concavity to that concavity. And obviously I'm not really explaining super well. I just think it's super cool that you can tell the shape of the graph without even going and looking at the graph, you know? You can already know, and you won't even have to think about it, you know? Like, if you're just looking at f of x, then you'd have to go and think about every point to get the shape of the graph. But if you're... That is very cool. It is very cool. And that's the kind of stuff they do... Well, I don't actually know what they use it for just yet. I've forgotten. I had an example, but I forgot. Anyhow, this is probably the shape it's gonna be, right? I think that's about correct. And then over here we have... actually have no idea how to do it. We love calculus. You're so right, Socks the Snail. Calculus is cool. The people who think it's for nerds are in fact wrong. They are wrong. So probably we follow this line out. Hang on, we want this mirror back. Then probably we put the knees on this line, right? Alright, so just like right about there. And then... I don't know about that. Hang on. It's tricky, because I don't actually know how to pose, you know? Do we go like this? I mean, we probably do, right? For the full T-pose kind of thing. Or maybe we want the... Whoops. Maybe we want the legs to just be straight down like that. Probably like this is best for now, just so we have the full thing. Right? Probably. Maybe. I don't know. And this is going to bother me until I fix it, but we can't worry about details like that until after we have things on the page, you know? We need to get the things on the page first. That is priority numero uno. But we do know that right around the 4 mark, we want to have our knee, right? Because we need it like that. Kind of, sort of, maybe, not really. So if it goes, so this is where the hips are, right? So if I draw a circle for the joints, then down to another circle for the knee, down to, well, that'd be where I want the feet to be, but the ankle has to be there, we know for a fact. And we also know, if I just like stick out my leg, I can see that the thighs should be like the same length as the shin. Approximately, methinks. So we should be able to conclude from that this should be more, whoops. Or I guess I should circle like that instead. I'm pretty sure we can conclude that this should be there instead. We're gonna have to take that for granted for now, as an axiom perhaps. I think that's correct. It's hard to say for sure because I don't know what I'm doing. But I think that's correct. And obviously we need to make these arms a little thicker. In a bit, I'll finish that later. But basically, you can kind of see how I'm trying to get it to go. I don't exactly know how things are supposed to look. I mean, that's basically kind of. Because I don't need to get it perfect right now. I just need it to be at a point where I can iterate on it, right? If this is something I can make better without changing the shapes, right? So if I traced over this essentially, maybe it's best to just try iterating on it right immediately now, just so that we can see whether or not it's doable, right? So we see here that this is a line like this. And because we know it has to be a closed shape, the other line would probably be the opposite direction, if I imagined it. And that means that this is kind of the right shape for that line. Probably. But then this other line is a straight line kind of the opposite way. Well, this whole bit is one line here. Right? But then they have this very straight part there. If I hide this, and I hide that, that's not terrible, right? I'm not crazy, I'm not just deluding myself. Probably don't want the calves to be so exaggerated, but it's not a huge problem immediately right now. Probably even needs to extend a little bit farther for the ankle, you know, because I mean, I'm not doing like super advanced anything right now. But if we look at this, that seems kind of correct, right? Who knows? I do think that that's correct. I think that it looks good. I didn't draw, so I don't know. That's part of the problem, is that I have such a hard time calling myself an artist, usually. And that's not because of any real reason other than I feel like other people know what an artist is better than I do. So if I just sort of... I do think that I did this shape well. It hints at what I'm trying to hint at. And I think the collarbones there are good. No, this is alright, right? Jay, you are an artist. See, I know that in my mind, but it's hard to feel that. It's also valid to have a stylized character rather than it being objectively realistic. That's absolutely true, Nama, but the problem is when you stylize without knowing what would make it realistic, you know? Because you need to know the rules before you break them. You can't, like, it's the same thing with writing. You don't learn all the writing conventions in high school and stuff because those are the way to write things in schools. You learn how to write stuff in school like that so that you can break those rules later on and have them have the actual impact rather than just being amateurish, you know? In the same way, there's nothing wrong with stylization, as long as you know what it could look like if you were trying to do something more real, like, you, not necessarily, I'm explaining it poorly, but it's the difference between somebody doing something like this and exaggerating things that they think should be exaggerated, rather than what can be exaggerated. I'm doing really terribly at explaining all this, but I don't know if any of it makes any sense, but it's a concept that I think is correct. Of course, I don't know much, so take it all with however much salt it needs to go down, honestly. And you can, it's funny how a lot of times you can see the inflection points where I change the concavity. And I also don't know how I'm supposed to draw the arms, pretty much at all. I'm just doing vaguely what I think arms look like. Right, and I think that this, if I hide that, I'm pretty sure that's correct. Like, this looks like stuff I've seen before. You know? I think the hips are a good size. Check, 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 check. I'm seeing check marks. I'm putting check marks there myself, but I think they're good ones. I think the arm width is good. It's a bit hard to know for certain if it's actually a good arm width. And you'll see that I moved the arms out a bit. That's because I was also told at the same time as proportions that the arms were a bit short. If I'm being completely honest, I think the arms are a bit too long now. Like, it depends on whether you think that the arm... Because for me, I think the arms should be down to about there. So, like, this much up. You know? But I don't know, because if I stand up myself, right? Here, I'll even... Yeah, no, I'll stand up over here. Oh, I forgot to put that table there. Hang on. Fingertips should reach about halfway down the thigh. I'm reasonably sure of that. Then, yeah, you're absolutely right. Because I'm standing up right now. My camera can't quite see my face, and so it's tracking stopped. I'm standing up right now. My fingertips are roughly halfway down my thigh. So I think that I moved them. I think that it's better than it... Blurred. Eebity-boo-bop-bee-boo. So, we're gonna move these hands. We're gonna move them. They're gonna be moved. Where are they? Good. Here. Put them on layer Y. Why? Good question. So I think halfway down the thigh, roughly there. Alright. And because this, so I'm a little unsure of how to do this, but you'll see that the shoulders are at this angle. So logically to me that means that the hands should also be at that angle, right? Unless it's contrapposta, but it isn't, right? You can tell that the hips are the same way as the shoulders. So I'm pretty sure that that means that this hand should be a bit higher up than the other hand. But that's just me. I'm not very good at drawing people, but I'm decently good at, like, 3D relations, you know? I think it should be, like, this somewhat. And that also does mean that this knee is even more wrong. But knees are a bit different because it has to come down. Oh, I will fix. Fix. That is better. With a question mark. Several question marks. In fact, I can even... Oh, I'm so silly. I forgot I had... Better? See, that's the big question. But this here, I think we're on a good pathway. I think the vision is there. And I'm moving my hands a lot. I should probably turn on hand tracking because of just how much I'm moving my hands this stream. If I go mocap option, no, I need to off. And I suppose this would be face plus body, huh? Yeah. Okay, so then I need to zoom out a bit, correct? This was a mistake, I've decided. We're going back to my face. I tried, and that's the important part. The vision was there, and I tried it, and it didn't work. So, I have a Reese's peanut butter cup right here, and I'm gonna eat it. Because my younger sibling gave it to me. I didn't go trick-or-treating, but my younger siblings did. They got a lot of candy. One house just dumped their entire bowl into their bag because they were kind of done handing out candy or something along those lines. Maybe they didn't think they were going to get very many more trick-or-treaters because there's been just fewer trick-or-treaters in general. I don't know if my town normally gets fewer. Probably, because it's a lot of old people. But it does seem like there's fewer trick-or-treaters all around these days. I'm hoping that this isn't warm and melty. It is not. I'm going to eat this really quick, so you're going to be quiet for a second. You didn't hear any trick-or-treaters IRL this year at all? Wowee. We had some at our house. A couple. We had some, like, Twinkies that we were giving out. But yeah, I think that Trunk or Treat is getting more popular, which is really disappointing because it's a sign of how urbanization and stuff has gone too far. People do not feel safe walking around as much, or at least not comfortable. Because walking around in America is just uncomfortable, right? So, I think that it's a problem, and it's a very clear sign that we have an issue on our hands, that there's not as many trick-or-treaters, and that people are doing more trunk-or-treat where they go to, like, a parking lot. I was gonna go trick-or-treating, but I've gotten too old, and I went out and said it's crazy. Yeah, I get that. It's a lot, huh? Wow, said socks in emoji form. Or I guess emote. I guess I can't call them emoji because they aren't, like, Unicode characters. Or I guess not. So I think all emoji are Unicode characters, but not all Unicode characters are emoji. I think that's how it works. I'm not certain though, because I know that Unicode characters are an extension of the... So, because computers were not invented in America, but places like MIT and ISBM, or IBM, actually not ISBM. I don't know where I got that from. I know that they pioneered a lot of early computer stuff, so we have the ASCII format for, like, the English letters, or the Latin characters. All emojis are emotes, and all emotes are pizza. I think that works. So, in pizza form, Sock says, wow. And he also says, what's this one? That one says, September. Oh, that's a Twitch one, huh? I ain't seen it. It's very nice, though. Speaking of, if y'all have any Prime subs, that'd be interesting. He's so dumb. You're ridiculous, Sharky. The most ridiculous, actually. So then, this going to there kind of means that this length needs to be the same. So I'm gonna beep beep bop beep beep. The pizza's dumb. Sharky's referencing a meme, and I'm gonna pull it up here. And probably get demonetized if I'm not. You guys might know. I'm gonna do it quickly so it doesn't. It's... I don't know where it is. Oh well, I give up. You guys can find it, I'm sure. And Sharky's ridiculous for bringing it up is all. Jeff the Killer? I don't know what you're talking about. I was not looking at all at any of those. I'm gonna be completely honest. I didn't see the one I wanted to see, so I left. So we're going to take this distance, we're gonna go here. Oh, that's actually perfect. Like, that's already actually perfect. Oh, whoops. So, fun fact about Krita that I found out relatively recently is that I can move this around. Also, yeah, you're a silly girl. So I can move this around, I can rotate it. I've been reduced to the public emotes as my gifted sub has now run out. That's so sad, Nama. I need to make more, beep bop, beep bop, beep. I need to make more emotes. I have these 5, and I think these are pretty good 5. Doug, I haven't seen Doug here in a while. We can put Doug in. We can leave Doug there for a bit. We can have Doug be chilling. But yeah, Doug is just like a fictional cat anyway. So the reason was originally, right? I had a where is it? This screen up in the top left up there. It used to have a little follow and subscriber thing, and I was like, well, I need a way to differentiate between which one's the follower and which one's the subscriber, right? So what I did was I made Doug to sort of put on top of the subscriber one to be like, look, they're special, they have a cat on top of them. But unfortunately, some of my viewers said, well, actually, Doug is better as a distraction cat. We'll post Doug emojis when we want to distract you from what's happening in Guilty Gear. And it worked every time. So that's kind of what the story behind Doug is. He's the distraction cat at the moment. Oh, that's what I was talking about a moment ago as well. Is I can rotate, I can move this around, translate it, I can rotate it like this. But Krita also has a very fascinating feature where I can rotate it as though it's a 3D object. Obviously a flat 3D object. But I can rotate this as though it has a third dimension. Doug, more like Dumg. How dare you? Doug is my favorite little cat. Although, maybe. Yeah, that is to the fingertip. Which means I just got to... I say it with so much love. I'm sure you do, Sharky. I'm sure you do. So we're going to just sort of pretend that this wrist is a little bit longer. And we're just gonna draw this glove. This Mimtim. Oh hey, Mimtim. Like mitten, but for Min. That's so silly. We'll just make the hand longer for now. It'll be fine, it'll be fine. It'll be fine, it'll be fine. Look at that! Look at that! That's actually good! I think, anyways. I think that this could be much worse than that is. I'm gonna go draw a smiley face. And another smiley face. And one more smiley face with the ears and a little nose. Hang on. Why am I having trouble? Hehehe. That looks pretty nice indeed. Perfect. 10 out of 10. This is actually exactly what I want to be seeing on my screen right now. In fact, the only thing that could make it better... Well, I mean, other than actually being better. Without doing any of the actual improvements I'm going to do in a little bit now. Make sure to save, of course, of course. I pressed the save button about 3 billion times to be sure. The only thing I want to see right now is this gone and this gone. And then this one's slightly taller technically. From there to there is a little bit longer from there to there. Which means I need to change that. Because I want them to be exactly the same height. But I know what to do about it. I think I make the thighs a little shorter. It looks worse because it's not one smooth continuous line. But it'll be more correct, you know? To have the ankles in the same spot. And like I said, I'm going to do more revisions. Look at this! We have our 45 degrees. Hang on. So, sometimes what helps me to figure out what direction things are is I draw a semi-flat circle, and then I draw an arrow pointing out of it, sort of at the angle I want. I mean, it helps, obviously. So this one's facing sort of like that direction. Then, it doesn't always help because it depends. But basically, if I imagine, like, this one's facing sort of like that, you know? Well, technically it'd be kind of a down like that. I don't know. I don't actually know how things work. I'm just going along. Do I still have any of my Stream Manager? Do we still have... Okay, we still got pre-roll invincibility. I'm gonna pause this. Did I ever thank Emery properly for following? They followed at the start of the stream. I said thank you. And I said here, thanks for follow, but I didn't say by name. They're pretty cool for being a follower. What was I going to do next? What do people usually put on reference sheets? That's the question, isn't it? I mean, obviously I need to put on clothes on these later. Well, actually, I don't even know if I need to do that at the moment. Because these are going to be used as a reference for modeling in Blender, right? And so, obviously I can make the clothes in Blender after the fact, but the most important part is going to be the shape. And so, I think I don't put clothes on them just yet. But then I need other things. What else is helpful? I mean, obviously I'm gonna need hands and feet better. I'm still just so stoked that it looks like this. From side angle and maybe expressions, that's right. I need the expressions, absolutely. Because you'll see it has this tiny little dot mouth. Fingernails. It's so, I don't know if you know this, Socks, but Vroid models, when you bring their mesh into Blender, their fingernails are a separate mesh. Right? I mean, I say that like it's a joined mesh in that it's all one object, but there's no vertex on the fingernail that connects to the rest of the finger, right? You could go select one of them, Control L, and it would just select the fingernail, you know? And that's weird to me. I mean, like, I get that it's done for texturing, I think. So if you have a colored fingernail, it's easier to UV map those than it would be otherwise. Because if you had them all as one texture, the way Krita, or not Krita, the way that Vroid does their, Vroid is very strange sometimes. They have a little art editor for textures in Krita, but it doesn't work so well. Because it's sort of like this, you know, it's very airbrushy. So if it were all one texture, then you'd have, basically, you try and draw just the fingernails and it would get everywhere else, and it wouldn't be so good on the UVs. It'd be terrible. So I get why it's different and why they're separated, so that you can have the texture for the color of the fingernails be completely separately. Oh, Duo? You're absolutely correct. We're doing Duolingo right now. Also, how's this doing? Anything wrong here? No, everything's fine there. Okay. Duolingo.com. And it's November 1st, which means there's a new badge to get, Oscar Krita Botticelli. You have no audio for Desktop Duo? That is true. However, I can just not do the listening exercises. That's a thing I can do. I'm gonna do Japanese, so it's been a bit since I did an actual progressive Japanese lesson. I've been doing just katakana, and can't listen now. Ba-boom! Back in 15 minutes. Shinsen? Oh boy. Oh, I was right. Masemasu? Oh, mazemasu. Zairyo? That's some kind of cuisine. I don't know. Because ryo often refers, like this kanji, often is for food. So it's some kind of food. I forget exactly what kind. Zai kind, probably. Kizamu and futa. Please mix it. Oh boy. I actually don't know Japanese that well, believe it or not. Ingredients, is that what zairyo is? It is, okay. Zairyo o, is that what maze is? Mazete, oops, mazete kudasai. Uminbon. この鍋の蓋はどこにありますか? Where is the nabe's futa? Pot's lid, okay. The lid for, and since it's kono, it's this pot. Where is, you know, where I did a little bit. Beep, beep, bop, beep, bop, beep, bop, beep, bop, bop. Mazemos, bim, bop, bim. この瓶の蓋はどこにあります? No, I don't know. So, aru, so sometimes it will say arumas or arimas, and then it'll, like, I'm getting a little bit mixed up. So there's arimas, which is the formal form, essentially. When you're speaking respectfully, you do mas, des, all things like that. But then if you're doing a tiny bit more casually, you do aru and stuff like that, which is sort of more a dictionary form, not necessarily polite. And then aru no is sort of speaking about the action in a meta way. So ari is sort of like an existence for verb, so like to be, for example. So when it say doko ni arimasu, it'd be where is it, like is being the operative verb there. What's this on my arm? It is nothing, it seems. Okay. Basically, when you say no, you're talking about the action, you know? So aru is being and no is the action. That, so the action of being, sort of. I don't know if I'm making any sense. Where is the lid? Because we saw before that futa is lid. For this, because it's this, and it's a bottle. Bean is bottle. Okay, good to know, good to know. Mazeru, like I said before, the ru is the dictionary form often. So this is what would be conjugated. When you're putting something into what my teacher called mas form back last year. Mas form, you with ru, or ru, you just drop the ru or ru and put it in the mas. If you're doing some other forms, you might, so other words will have like a ri instead of a ru, and then it'd be I forgot. Anyways, bin no mushi o ireta. No, bin ni mushi o ireta. I know what this one is. Mushi is bug. Ireta is to put something in. So I put the bug in a bottle. He. I mix the water and soy sauce. Okay. Mizu to shoyu? Oh, I don't actually know mixed. Oh, it was maze. Maze. And so this one, ta, is very casual one. Because instead of doing mas or mashita or any of the formal ones, you just do ta. End the thing there. So water, and, because to is often an and particle. Shoyu is soy sauce, you can see here. And then o is sort of like what's happening to them oftentimes. There's different particles you'd use in different situations. This is pronounced as o, but technically it's wo. It's like wo technically, but usually just pronounce it as o. And the actual o sound is actually here. You can see that's the actual o. Then that's wo, but you pronounce it as o in this context. There's other ones you'd pronounce it as wo, but not this one. And then maze for mixing, and ta because it's conjugation. Zairyo, ingredients we learned earlier. Oh, mazete kudasai. Oh, please mix the ingredients. It's the same we saw, but in reverse. I put the bug in the bottle. We saw this as well. Mushi ni bin o ireta. Darn it, I did that wrong, and I did not see the solution. Nabe ni futa oshita. Hang on, I put the lid on the pot, right? So sometimes you'll see something like this where it's a noun and then shita, which basically, so shita is sort of like, it's a conjugation of suru, which is sort of like to do. So if you lid as an action, if you put a lid on it, essentially, it's not put a lid on it because you're not using put as a verb, you're using lid as a verb, which is sort of to lid some, like, can it, essentially. You know, when you say can it, it's the same sort of principle. Yori nin, that's chef, because nin is person, and yori is cuisine. Ni wa zairyo o komakaku kizanda. Finally, komakaku kizanda, and then that's chopped. Okay, the chef finally chopped the ingredients. Nito burrito. Soryo tana ni irete. So it's not always person. By the way, kanji can mean different things in different contexts. That's something you gotta get used to. This one is for put in or on. I put that on the shelf. Put that on the shelf. Okay. I'm so bad at kanji. Puta, zairyo, shinsen, mazemasu, kizamu. Okay, good. Discount is nebiki. Sadness. Oh, we can do lid first because we know that one. We know nabe. No tofu, and it's easier when you have the. It's actually so much easier when you have the hiragana on top of it because then you actually know what it sounds like. Mazemasu, kizamu, zairyo, buta. Mame. Mame is beans, I think. Last I checked. Soybeans, maybe specifically, I forget. This one is katachi. Soy milk. I forgot. No, it's actually probably daizu. It is not. I learned that just now. That is not that. Soybean. Oh, wait, hang on. This one's soy milk. Because new. So gyunyu is milk. Then the same suffix for the new is soy milk. That makes sense. Nabe is pot. Soybean, we see the same kanji ending in soybean with the daizu. We see this kanji, we see that as do here. So different kanji, I think it might depend on where it is in the word. But they'll have multiple pronunciations and it just depends on what word it is. And then shinsen is fresh. Then let's see. Mushi ni bin o ireta. Why is this incorrect? It's bin ni mushi. Oh, gotcha. So it's not bug. Or so I've basically swapped the order of these because I'm thinking in English. Bug in jar is what I was thinking. But really it's there is a jar and a bug is having an action related to it. It's a little different. I forget exactly how I worded it in my head that made sense before. Bin ni mushi o ireta. Bim bom, bim bom, bim bom, bim. In a bit, we're gonna need to... 6 minutes, that's fine, that's fine. What quests do we need? We need to... So I did forget 2 days this week. Nudge. Motion zone. We want to get as many quests as we can, of course. That's quite a few, and this will take a little while if I keep explaining everything. It's just, I feel the need to talk more to make up for the lack of noise in my ears, you know? If there is stuff happening in my ears, my brain would quiet down a little bit. I have coins in my hand now. I have 3 pennies. I've learned how to fake a coin flip. What you do is, and you guys can't see this, but I can, and that's the important part. You put your thumb and your middle finger, sort of like you're about to snap, right? Whoops. And then you put your, the coin in question between those two fingers sticking out a bit. Then you snap, and then the coin will flip, except it won't flip. Instead, it'll sort of wiggle in the air in a way that looks like it flips, and it'll land the same way as the way that's facing you. Right? And it's very fun. And I always tell people, I don't use this to trick anyone. I just think it's very fun to do a little silly, like, hey, heads or tails, and then it's always wrong no matter what they guess. It's so silly. So silly. And I just ask them like 6 times in a row, hey, heads or tails? And then they're wrong. And if they don't get it, I tell them, obviously. Because I don't want to be mean. No, Sharky, check this out, check this out. I can do a fun little trick called... Magic trick, indeed. There we go. First rotating 2D lands on a 3D plane, now fake coin trips. There's no end to the magic. And I've timed Sharky out for 5 seconds, 5 entire seconds, as a punishment for calling me cute. I'm sorry about that, Sharky, that's probably a bit too far. I'm just being a bit silly right now. I'm glad that it did 5 seconds instead of 5 minutes when I typed 5, though. It would be too mean. No, Sharky! You can't do this. I'm busy, I gotta do Duolingo. Actually, you're distracting me from Duolingo. You're actually making stream worse by distracting me. So think about what you've done. I'm not gonna time you out this time, but you should be silenced by the police if needed. By the word police. So we have so. I think hiragana and katakana are easier to learn. I mean, obviously they're easier to learn because they don't require anything besides matching some sounds to some shapes. Sharky was Doug the distraction cat the whole time. Except Sharky's a dog, so it doesn't quite work. Hama. Kiso. Hama. Hate. Mari. Hashi. Hatsu. Kiso. Hate. Hana. Hashi. Mayu. Hama. Shima. Sora. Hetsu. Hama. Sora. Mayu. Mari. Hashi. Hate. Hama. Haki. Sora. Mayu. Hana. Hatsu. Also, Shay, the hiragana above kanji are called furigana. I've heard that before, I just forgot because it's not something that I think about too often. Furigana is... I'm gonna look that up, hang on. I'm gonna see if I can get more context. Yes, indeed. You're so smart, BT Nama, for that. Type of Ruby text. Yomigana. And Ruby. Interesting. So it's also... Because Yomi is just, like, reading. Gana. I guess it makes sense, because it's the part you can read. Actually, I'm curious about the history a little bit. Kurigana. On up here. Inline is... to inflect. Oh, yeah, well. Usage. Names. English name. Okay, well, it doesn't sound like they have a little history guide there. We're gonna do one more quick one. What's on the menu for art? Hi, Psycho Gamer. We're working on this. I'm making a reference sheet because I'm trying to do some 3D modeling in Blender in the future, or rather it was in the past, but it's going to be in the future now because it wasn't working out. In fact, I can even... Psycho, welcome. Indeed. I can even show you probably sometime, maybe now? And if you guys want to see, I can show you how things were going on the 3D modeling front. Because it's not terrible, but it wasn't quite the way I needed it to be going. And that's mostly because I had 2 separate people who are better at 3D modeling telling me that the proportions were off. And that is Kutsu, Semi, I can't... My response to criticism is usually to start over, but better. Because if I don't know what I'm doing wrong, if I'm not told what I'm doing wrong, then obviously I need to start over, but better, right? Because if I don't know where I made a mistake, then obviously the mistake needs to be somewhere in the process. So if I just start the process over, then the mistake is gone. No problems left. Kumo, naku, mise, hey na, natsu, summertime, moshi, utsu. Is that my shoes? I forget. Kumo, naku, semi, hana, tsu, semi toroku. Kumo, hana, se, kumo, mise, natsu. Well, I suppose they would say semi-choku instead, but I was thinking just because of spelling. I think 2 quests is enough for today. And I've kind of decided that I want to show you guys. I kind of want to show you guys how things were going back when I was first. So it was actually for like a while that I was working on it. But in Blender, I can pull it up for you guys. It's gonna load, don't worry, it's not gonna crash. Blender doesn't crash my computer. Blender's way better than Elden Ring. If I go here, this is how things were going, right? It's not terrible, you can see. And I can hide the something or other. I don't know. Anyway, you can see it's gonna have toe beans, and it's gonna have toe beans on the hands as well, and they're gonna be fun. And it's not terrible. You can see how it has the angles. Obviously, it looks weird now because because obviously the proportions are off for one. Proportions are terrible. I can see that now, especially now that I've started doing this, I can see how far off the proportions are. Oh, but this is how it was going. I did spend quite a bit of time making this. And I thought it looked good at the time, and it does not. And I'm very thankful to the people. I did not mean to click that one. That one's the laggy one because it's fully rendered and stuff. Now, what we can do instead of waiting for it is actually just close that. If I could. Might be too laggy. What we can do instead then, bing, bing, and it's gone. Don't you just love Linux? That'd be a little trickier in Windows, huh? Not way too much trickier, but some programs don't want to close as easily. But in Linux, they don't have a choice but to do what you tell them to. In Linux, you're the boss. What were we up to? We wanted to do a side profile, huh? That's a little tricky. That is a little tricky. Part of me wishes I had the camera down there instead. You know, I wish this now and then. I'm gonna actually... I'm gonna test really quickly if I can remember why it doesn't work for me to have it down here. Because I don't remember. Well, it seems like part of the reason is that it's always like that then, huh? Even if I bring it up like this, it's looking at my chin upwards from that angle, and that's why I have it up above, even though it's a little worse. If I put it over here, how about that? Now I'm at a side angle. No, I do think that up here is still best. Even though it looks a little worse when I lean forward, and I do lean forward quite a bit, this is probably still the best angle. The best there is. What was I up to? I was drawing a side profile. That's tricky. Side profile is tricky. Definitely tricky. Oh, but first, it's about time for our break. And I do want to try and remember these breaks, both because I need money. I can even look at our analytics for earnings. Failed to load. Probably recognize that I shouldn't open that when I'm live. Oh, actually, no, it's just being silly, huh? Perhaps I need to refresh the page. Interesting. It must be because it's late at night. Has chat stopped appearing? Are there chat messages I'm not seeing? It might be time to end stream. Hang on. Oh yeah, that'd be good then. Stream is still online. Yeah, I know stream is still online, but I actually am starting to have trouble seeing chat and stuff now. You can see here. Yeah, I need to talk to my parents about this because things. Yeah, it's still online. I'm glad that I'm glad that things are still working and you guys can still see chat normally, but my chat doesn't load quite the same right now. So I have to look at the actual stream in OBS to see chat. And I'm pulling up on my phone so that I hopefully don't have to do that. Baby bump. Stream manager. Alright, so now if I just turn up the brightness on my phone, I should be able to stream for some more time. If stream suddenly goes down, whoops. If it doesn't, though, we're all good to keep going. And I was about to take a break anyway, so we're going to do that. If I stream long enough, then it'll come back normally. It's just that that's sort of my sign that I've gone way too late usually. Anyways, I do need to take a break because it is time for me to use the bathroom. So I will be right back. Oh, hey, wait a second. Oh, darn, the music's buffering. Now there's no music. It's because it doesn't load the music. Alright, well, I'll still take my little break. I'm sorry about that. I am back. Alright, so you might have seen an ad there. What I did was I realized, hey, if I can't see my dashboard here, I can't do the 3-minute ad break like normal. And so what I did instead was I pulled it up on my phone in desktop browser. I've kind of been talking fast today. I've had a lot to think about that I wanted to say because, yeah, when there's no noise, my mind goes active. It goes, bah. What was I saying? I basically figured out how to run an ad, but instead of doing full 3 minutes, because I had already, taken some time to figure that out, I just did a quick 1-minute one, to sort of not punish you guys for my mistakes or my issues. Now, I am still hopefully able to watch chat as things are, because stream's still live. That hasn't changed. I don't think. I still see the kilobits per second transferring. And y'all did say it was still alive. So we're going to assume that things are normal and good. And that means we need a side profile. I kinda don't know. You're here? That's awesome, Sharky. Love to hear it. You're also a sweet girl, by the way. So the difficult thing is that, side profiles are tricky. I don't know how I want to do a side profile. I probably want to put this over here for now, so that I can have space for this to be much closer. I'm even going to... Group. Quick group. I'm gonna put this as 3. Wow. What am I forgetting? I don't know. Anyways, a side profile is tricky because in this style, in any style really, I don't know how to do a face. Because this nose, so the way I'm picturing it is like, the plane of the face is sort of like this, I'm imagining this is like the front of, well, technically this has to be part of the face, so it'd be imagining that to be like the face and then that to be like the side of the face. Kind of. But I'm also imagining, whoops. For some reason I thought there was an extra line there. So let's see about, oh wait, I can't Google things. No, wait, maybe I can. Maybe it's not all websites. Let's see if we can get a rough inside profile going. It might just be all websites that I can't use. That would suck. Well, we're here anyway. Okay, yeah, we still have no Bluetooth. Well, that sucks as well. Hopefully I can talk enough to make the lack of background music not terrible. And hopefully that my talking isn't terrible, so y'all can have something not terrible to listen to. That sounds like an ideal thing for a stream to have going on. I'm not going to be chewing this film, actually. I was thinking about it because the gum's there, and I want some, thing to make the brain go brrr. But instead I guess we just don't get to see Ruff Ruffman. Ruff Ruffman was one of my favorite characters when I was younger. I used to really want to go on Fetch because I thought it'd be so fun. But then later I learned it was staged. But obviously when you're like a 5-year-old kid, you don't know that. Oh, darn, I dropped this little thingy thing in there, I got it. What was I saying? How am I temperature at 90 degrees? That makes no sense. What was that even? Fetch mention. You're so right, Nama. Did it not appear on my... Oh, gosh. That's a problem. I guess chat isn't appearing on stream either now, huh? That sucks. Well, I guess I'll just have to pay double attention to my phone then, huh? If we push through a little longer, we'll hopefully see it return to normal. I'm gonna be going late tonight, as you can tell. I'm already late tonight, huh? Oh, it's just disappeared entirely. Didn't expect that. How's Stream Avatars doing? They're still chilling there. They're still goofy goobers. Anyways, I don't know how to do this side. I guess I should talk about. Your talking is never boring. You're the silliest, Sharpie. I hope you know that. So we can see that, from this example that I did so well. I'm still so proud of this. As we can see from this example, the eye gets. So it's one length at this angle, then a shorter length at this angle. Then we can assume that at some point this one will get shorter and shorter until not visible. And this probably wouldn't get any bigger. This is probably the limit. As it rotates. Because normally the eye is sort of like that. You know? So it's sort of a sunken in part. So we've got ourselves a nose that's gotta be visibly 3D, an eye that should go like this, and eyeliner that should go kind of to there-ish, and then end there. Right? And then we have this part go. Oops. Maybe this. That's right. We actually have it as just two pieces. I did the rest of that there as part of the side of the eye, but we kind of don't have the same situation going on. So it'd be kind of like that, wouldn't it, huh? For this first side profile. And it'd have to be a bit bigger too, but right now I'm just figuring out the shapes, you know? Because obviously it wouldn't be like that, because we see that. I also think it's very interesting how this isn't quite an anime style. It's also not quite, I don't know quite what it is. Well, I do know quite what it is. It reminds me of Cute Little or Cuddle. I don't know what they're called. Let's see. Oh wait, hang on a second. We might be back. Because it's past midnight, we might be so back. It might be so back. Let's see. If I were to test. Are we back? Well, I see your message in OBS, and so I don't have to have my phone out anymore. What me thinks I got to do, what I think I have to do now, what I think must be done, I think I need to find the source in OBS. Hello everyone, this is Stampy. Welcome back to my lovely world. Where is my source? Where is the source? Source. That's not it. Where's... Chat. Here. Refresh this. Test. Ahaha! We're so back. We are so back. Rough Ruffman, here I come. All the pictures of Rough Ruffman we could ever desire. Let's see about a side profile. Source was a game engine made for the Valve Corporation for their game Half-Life 2. I'm noticing how none of these are side profiles. Kind of interesting, don't you think? I asked specifically for side profiles and it said no thank you. Nice? Yeah. So, that means the most important part, we can have music. for y'all. Maybe. So I'm noticing how none of these say like, the quotation marks means it has to include that, but I guess it doesn't. I said that because she asked for a source. You're silly! Oh, there's usually a gap before almost anything besides walking. I need to slow down. I'm too something. I don't know what the mood is tonight. Just not having my headphones really changes things for me. Not having any sort of stimulation besides talking. You're biased, Sharky. In fact, you're so biased that you get another. Ha! Take that, Sharky. See that. So then, other than that for the shape, obviously we've got to have some hair. Or that'd be curved the other way, huh? Then we've got to have an ear. Then we've got to have more hair. Then we've got to have chin. But I think that the nose has to be the farthest point forward on your face, right? Can't quite be like that, because I don't want it to be. There's probably more visible there. Something closer to this. Right? And I'm realizing that this kind of looks like a My Little Pony character a little bit from this way I'm drawing this. You're so mean to me. I hate you. I love you. No, you're ridiculous, Sharky. I will be even more mean to you now. You'll never see it coming. I'll be mean when you least expect it. Bonk. Ow. You are very impressive. My brain is at 110% capacity. I'm not even doing the art. I'm glad you think so, Nama. Art streams kind of do this for me. My mind works so hard to try and do art, and it does not work so well. Kill you. Sharky, if you think it's fun when I say it like that, imagine Sharky. You guys don't know what Sharky sounds like, but Sharky is the cutest ever when they say that to me. You don't even understand how cute it is. They need to go to jail for it. They need to die. I need to kill them. Hang on, I've got to stretch for a second. I've got too much energy to continue doing art. Nobody's redeemed squats in so long. I'm gonna switch to... I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna go here. I'm just going to do some walking around a little bit because I want to. And it's gonna work fine. I need to angle the camera up a tiny bit more, though. Just like so. Oh, some squats. Thank you, Sharky. How is that? Why am I upside down? Thank you, Sharky. I'll do 25 squats. Why not? Set this table over there. Ooh. I have energy. And I shouldn't because it's midnight. It's a weird time to have energy. But that's the world we live in. Anyways, 25. We go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. I love how your model bounces. My model doesn't bounce at all, actually. Woo! No bouncing. I didn't add any physics for bouncing. There's none happening. Oh, it's me. I'm back. So I guess what I'm trying to say is I have no idea what you're talking about when you say my model bounces. Sharky, actually, you'll find, when you look at the facts, when you look at the details, when you look at the sources, when you look at the citations, when you look at the Wikipedia articles, is that you are so cute. I might not get any sleep tonight. I might be streaming for so long. Who knows? This might be my longest stream ever. Or I might fall asleep on stream. We'll see. We'll save a bit. So, drawing a side profile is tricky. Because with this, I mean, it goes... So theoretically, there'd be face back, or not face. There's a plane over here, right? Sort of. I mean, obviously, not exactly. But there's this line. And then that goes back to the skull. It's all confusing. I genuinely love you so much too, Sharky. You are the silliest. The silliest, the cutest, and it's in... what's the word? I'm forgetting the word. Indisputable. That's the word. Yep, definitely the one I was going for. I might have been going for a different one at first, but I changed my mind because I forgot it. And I don't even remember what it would have been. I know it started with an I. So indisputable is the one I'm thinking I was going for. I just have energy for no good reason. It's actually a little strange. I didn't take any drugs, I don't think. You know what it might have been? It might have been the pudding I had earlier. Because for my wisdom teeth removal, I got myself a lot of pudding. Right? Because obviously you can't really eat hard foods when you get your wisdom teeth removed. So I got a lot of pudding. And I was thinking to myself, I actually have quite a bit of pudding left over for no good reason. There's no reason I should have this much pudding left over. So I just put all of it into a bowl. It wasn't that much. It was only like 6 pudding cups. And I got some cookies and I crumpled them in. And it was tasty. It was like a pudding pie, sort of. So that might be why I have energy. Except that was way earlier. And the sugar's probably out of my system by now. Anyways, we've got a trickiness on our hands. We've got such a trickiness. We've got the most trickiness. We've got a sphere here. We've got a face here. I mean, presumably, right? A nose here. Presumably, right? Could even do it kind of like this. We felt like. Lulu. So, what really imagines my dragons is that this shape, I imagine it being like completely flat, you know? Right? And that's tricky because I'm trying to make it completely 3D. And it's hard to find a good middle ground. Just a reminder, we remind you, she, her for me, you were using they, them earlier. Was I? Oh, I'm sorry. You know I don't mean to, Sharky. You know that I don't think of you as they at all. Sometimes I just refer to people as they, because that's just something you do in English sometimes. And so that's something I'm trying to get out of the habit of doing. You know this. And I don't mean to draw too much attention to it. But, to get back on to what I was saying, it's tricky because I've got to figure out how to draw that side. Because it's such a flat thing, but I really like how it looks. So I've got to figure out how to translate this and this to the side. It's okay, I'm just reminding you. Sorry, distracting you a lot. No problem, no problem. Early good night from you. I'm gonna look for a while. Great progress and good luck with the rest of my novel. Thank you, shit. Well, I'm not. You're not Shame, I'm Shame. Good luck. No? Good night, Nama. I need to slow myself down to get that out of my mouth properly. And don't worry about distracting me, Sharky. I'm here for the distractions, not the destination. So we've got to get ourselves some kind of working 3D. Because if we have ourselves this, then we have this, then this. So that's obviously one way of having it from the side. Good night, Nama, indeed. You got me smiling so much. I'm glad, Sharky, because I don't want to make you feel bad ever. Obviously, it might happen sometimes, but it would be a complete accident, I assure you. Unless I'm being mean on purpose. Consider that a warning. Or don't. I think it's ambiguous at best. What was I up to? I'm trying to draw a side profile. So, let's see. I think we really do. I mentioned earlier, but I didn't get to look it up. Kill Bill is actually, I think, where a lot of this style comes from. You'll see? Yeah, a lot of this is pretty similar to what they do. So if I can find something about what they do that I can put into mine a little, a good little, because clearly my style takes after theirs a lot, right? I don't know if it's that obvious to y'all, or even if it's true or not, really. But I think it's similar, vaguely. If I could find some... If I can figure out what they're able to do... Or maybe it's best to have just anime side profile. See, this is what a lot of people will do. I mean, obviously, I'm not the biggest fan of the way anime things do this super exaggerated nose bridge inwards. My model here does it, and that's one thing I don't like about it. They just really exaggerate how much the forehead goes in. Like, it's obviously a real thing there. I can feel it with my finger here, how there is the difference between the bridge of the eyebrow and the forehead and the way the nose goes. But, like, I don't like how exaggerated it is, you know? It's weird to me. This one's better about it. It's more normal about it. So it's not like they have to do it to get the anime look. They just choose to. What is also tricky is that this does not have straight lines, you might notice. Like any of them. These are all curved lines. I mean, okay, that technically is straight, but it's meant to be curved if you think about it. So when I go and I see these references that go like this, I'm like, that doesn't work for me because this line is incongruent with the way I'm imagining this. So perhaps we need to do just a hint of lips to sort of break that up. No, that's a bit much because this is such a simple mouth, and so doing a detailed mouth later wouldn't make much sense. Until we get to expressions, of course. But even then, I think that it would be like, ooh, ooh. Or then... Hang on, I can't go too far back. Oh! It's very simplistic. So we've got to have a nose, obviously, and that's going to be the furthest forward. I'm going to have ears. Probably even like this. Alright, somewhere around there. eyes will be like so. As always. We'll just do glasses for now for simplicity. But obviously, because it's a side profile, we wouldn't be seeing the rest of it like I'd be imagining at first. So it's actually more like that, you know? Oh? Like this, perhaps. So we do have a point at this intersection here. Maybe it needs to be like that then? So if we try and model that a little, we do it like this, and then we have a nose like that, and then we draw an eye like this. That could be worse, but it could be much, much better. This is why I can't draw people. It's just too difficult. So, let's see. Because for some reason, I'm able to rotate it that way to get here. Why am I having trouble rotating it the other way to get to the side profile? So this would shrink more until it's invisible. Right? Maybe I just do my best to draw as close to a side profile as I can. Right? And then I'll see if I can take another step from that. Right? And I'll start with just face, because the rest of the body is, I mean, much easier to do as a side profile. You know, you just womp. But then, let's see. If I want to do that, I'd go... Yeah. See, that's part of it too. That's part of the issue, is this bit here. Because I want so much for this line to go and imply that the eyes are somehow bigger than the face almost, because that's something I care about, it's hard to imagine the eye going to a point where it's gone, you know? And that's what part of this exercise is for that I'm doing right now, is to help me get to that point where it'd be almost gone. So we're going to say at this angle, no. Or maybe it is just like that, perhaps, if I want. Because clearly we have the skull and this. I mean, obviously it's more like that kind of, but I mean, not that quite shape, but you understand the point. So, clearly it's, I mean, obviously we're already at an angle here. We've got a nose somewhere like, we've got a nose somewhere like there. We've got an eye. And I know I'm not doing at all what I said, and I'm skipping right to trying to do a side profile. But I really feel like I should be able to, you know? And it'd be something like this. And then this would be farther back because the nose is furthest forward. And this might even be rotated a little. Stretched. That would still be down there. hang on. It'd be kind of like this almost. I don't know if y'all have opinions on this. If I look at these. Huh. 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 I'm not copying you at all, Sharky. You don't do villager noises that much. Yeah, really. When's one time you've done that? When you're not copying me? Oh, this nose would be a little farther down, like there, perhaps. I want this nose to be a bit smaller. That's kind of it. Because then we'd have the hair going like this. Every time I make a noise of contentedness around you, you make a villager sound at me, silly. Right. And so I'm copying myself, is what you're saying. I'm not copying you, is what I'm hearing. I'm afraid I don't quite understand it. What you're trying to say to me. I do think I'm close to... But you think I'm saying villager noises? No, I don't. I never said I thought you were doing... I knew what you were doing. I knew you were making noise of contentedness. I just think villager noises are silly. So that's why I do them. So there. I think we're pretty close to a working model of the side profile we're after, aren't we? This sort of shape. Maybe it needs to be... Maybe play around with... Maybe this has to be like... Ooh, that's actually fire. And I don't say that lightly, because that's a slang term I, like, never use. That is the thing. That is exactly the thing. That's, like, precisely the thing. Hang on a second. We're gonna put that, like, a little bit opacity. Then we're gonna draw un circle. Wait, hang on. It's kind of got to match the shape of the head here. Bing! Head size confirmed. Got a large head, ma'am. Blue. Blue. Bomping. You are silly, and you do forgot. You forgot at the basketball court. But basically here, now, if I go and I say, hang on a second. Okay. So then if I put that at just a little opacity, then I have the magical ability to go like this. So what we know now is that, so we know that this has got to go no further down than, well, I mean, technically I'd want it to start further back in that case, right? We'll see in just un second. Okay, so it's not quite as inspired as I was hoping. But it's not dumb either. So when I look at this, that's wrong. Good to know. I think what I've done in this case that's ruined is I've made that circle too big. I think it's actually smaller and I've just exaggerated it too much. I think it's actually like that big. Well, that wouldn't quite explain all that then. Unless... Well, let's experiment. The thing is, I didn't really have a... Well, I did have a circle base for this one, but I drew the hair way big for it. Or the idea with this one was... You know what I think? I think we're going to take this, and we're just going to scale it up, since I liked that one. I didn't like the other ones. I'm going to scale it up until it is the right size-ish. Then over here, we're just going to trace over a little. That way it is impossible to get it wrong. Unless it's a bad idea to begin with. I'm having an idea. What if I just give a little hint of some lip there? No. Anyhows. Um. Like so. More like soap. Like that. I think it's a little more drastic than that, but maybe we can just pretend it's because of the compression. Because over here we see, because the lens for your eye, it's that sort of shape. Therefore, when you see it, it's from this angle. But we've also got to make sure they're as big as the others. Then let's just bing, bing bong, bing ba da da, bing ba da da, bing ba bing bong. Yo, not to brag or anything, I'm kind of happy with it. Now, completely satisfied is a little trickier to pin down. Because is anyone really ever completely satisfied with anything in their lives ever? If so, I don't know if I believe you. How we see for a fact over here and over here that the ahoge is back there-ish. And it goes to the left. Oh, this is a tricky thing to draw. So we see... Yeah. And then, yeah. I am with my girlfriend. Wowie, which one? No, I'm joking. I know you just have me. I think that's correct. I think that's right. I think that is radical. Now the tricky part is getting the ears the right size. Saving a bunch right now. The temperature's at 88 degrees, and I don't like that. But it's not causing problems. So I have to assume that it's okay. My dad mentioned that like 200 Celsius is apparently not unheard of. But I know for a fact that high temperatures are bad for computers. But my dad knows better than I do. I'm gonna have to trust him on that. Oh, yes. We are. So we've got ourselves a little bit of an ear problem. It being... I've set up the ears to be sort of like that-ish. Because here you see they're very flattened. And over there as well. But to a lesser extent. Because it's from that angle. I basically need to draw the inside of the ear. And I also need to make sure that it's like that big, but over here, you know? What if it's like... Nya nya? If that's the case, we'd also be seeing... Nya nya? Sometimes saying nya nya helps you draw the cat ears. Don't ask me how, it just is true. I'm also undecided on something. I kind of want to add a tail. But I think it'd be kind of weird if I retconned into having a tail, right? So I'm thinking about maybe a prosthetic tail of some kind. I don't know if that's necessarily okay on all counts. Because that might be seen as sort of like cosplaying a disability. And I don't really want to catch that heat, so to speak. But I do think it makes more sense than some of the alternatives. So it's something to think about for sure. And 7 years ago. M. M. Well, clearly it can't go out like that, just the same, can it? Perhaps it's gotta go more like this. Part of my issue too is that I haven't put this much thought into what I want the side to look like. Luckily the neck won't be difficult. I mean, this is pretty much it, as far as my plan went. Maybe this is a little bit of a shallower angle. Bum, ba-dum, bum, ba-dum, bum, ba-da-bum. Is this even big enough? Yikes. For Gort. Oh no, it's pretty much exactly big enough, really. We're gonna have to worry about that, aren't we? We're gonna have to worry a lot, aren't we? I mean, if you look, it fits pretty much the same footprint. A little bit cut off because it's not a sphere. So I guess it'd be correct, wouldn't it? I guess that's a correct way of having drawn it, isn't it? And we also need a line like this. Or something. To separate the front and the back, because the chin needs a line of some kind separating it, right? And I don't want it to be the skull, because that'd make me bald. I suppose I also need to decide exactly how long the hair is, huh? For now, Bink. Thoughts, opinions. You're right. This line should go higher. I suppose part of the issue is that we aren't seeing texture on this, which would help a little. Looks good, you thinks? You are biased, and I will keep that in mind. I think this is wrong. I think it needs to go like... almost like that, but less. I think that's better. Then the neck will be something like this. Then we've got to... remember... so, I don't know if y'all were all there, but Nama and I at least were. A little while ago, I was on stream. And me? Biased? No. A little while ago, I was doing some full body tracking. I leaned forward a bunch. And the face sort of clipped through the camera a little bit. And some of the hair deloaded. And it actually ended up being a really cute shorter haircut. Almost. It was obviously not quite right, but I feel like doing a little bit shorter than the hair I have now is a good idea. And I already have it basically going... well, I mean, maybe I just give it a full haircut, huh? Just short hair? Because, I mean, if I go here... and it's like this, and it's like this, and it's like this. It's a haircut. Sort of to that length. Neck length. Or I could continue having it be to mid-back-ish. Shoulder length, mid-back, something like that. Hard to decide, and I still think that this isn't right. Let's see, I think... for what reason is it not right? If the head itself is like this, and this hair is way too big. Is that why? That's a large part of it. I think this is also too short. Is it though? No. This is why it's so tricky to draw people. What was that? Kind of like a... Oh. I see. This, y'all can't see it. It's sort of a fidget toy, I guess. It's basically a bunch. It's sort of like rings, but it's all one piece. Not one piece. Basically, if you it fold out into a shape, and then you can fold it back down into a ring. That's sort of made up of a bunch of layers, sort of like it's multiple rings. And you can like put it on your arm and have it go up and down and stuff. It's that sort of thing. But anyways, oh, well, hang on. Don't expand. Just be rings. Just go flat. All down. There you go. So I've got a... Oh. I think I need to restart on this face. This side profile. I think it's a good start to some ideas we have here, so I won't delete it all immediately just yet. But I will lower the opacity, and I will move it over here. I think we've got to start with something else. Let's just make this roughly the same. Yeah. Then, so the plane of the face is a wedge, sort of, right? So you have it go down, up to there, and then it goes back and to the other side, where it does much the same. And then it sort of connects up like this-ish. Well, I suppose actually it'd be more like that, huh? And then you have your nose like this. Is how it's done more classically, I think. Basically, the goes nya nya ni ni nya. So how does one... This isn't bad, but it's not on par. It's not right. That's because I think I'm making it too exaggeratedly forward. I think this is too, like, it's too much like that, you know? Whereas this is very much more flat, and that's very much more flat. So if we see about something much more flat, you know? Hard to do this. Hard to do. Hard to do. Because obviously, this is going to come down from there. Sort of. Part of it, I think. So I keep on thinking of the nose as being halfway ish here. The nose is actually kind of like there, isn't it? Let's actually just Google a face proportion guide. Alright. See how kind of that goes. So eyebrow line should be halfway in that circle. Which means that this should be halfway on our circle as well. Well, no, not exactly. Anyways, if I go like this, what do I see? I see that, yeah, pretty much. That's what we see. Maybe I scale up this a bit. Alright, so that's where the eyebrows would be anyway. Then we have the eyes a little bit lower. Say to about there. Then at the bottom of this is the nose on the tangent to the circle, which is not what we have, like, at all, you can see. So that's how you know it's not proportional. And we shouldn't be going for proportional anyway. Actually, let's just undo a bit. So we can tell it's not proportional, but we know why. It's because it's cuter, it's more anime. That's what we wanted. But what we don't want is the same sort of anime side profile. It's gotta be different. Let's look at what some American cartoons have done. See, this is kind of actually more like what we're after. Not exactly. Not exactly. But more. So if I go back here and I say, what if we, 'cause I still feel like this is too far forward, you know? So what if we just like bring it back a little horizontally? I tried copying your drawings this stream. How'd you do? I'm curious. They might be better. That isn't bad. I think moving it back was the right move. And then this goes more at an angle. That goes up and it shouldn't. Then I also wanted to try out like this. It's not good, but I like trying. No, it's good practice. I agree. Well, I guess this requires a little more looking at this, at what exactly they're doing. So that's a, like, no, that doesn't fit at all with what we're up to, huh? That kind of does. But is it better than just a straight line? I'm also really uncertain about all this blank space we've ended up with. Because obviously this frames the face. Because, like, this from here to here is only from here to here, right? Pretty much. And so that's the problem we're having, is that we don't have anything there. But there's got to be something there, right? Because if we do that, then it'd have to be something like this. And I guess I can work that in. To have something come in front a little. And I have stuff like that here, you see. So we could add in some that goes over. If we wanted to. But I'm still undecided. But we do have to have some go back. I don't know how to draw hair, actually. I'm remembering that part. I need a sip of Walter. I just remembered I have pre-roll running. Let's see. It is almost 1 a.m. I want to get this side profile done. Or at least started. I want to get this to a point where I am comfortable saying it has been started. This eye is actually much bigger than those eyes. And that is because the bottom part, I think, is wrong. Is it now, though? Both are. Top and bottom. Just gotta... There we go. That's that. Noses line up, eyes. Wait a second. This is too small. Oh, you're right, the eye was way too big. Or it was too big. And then we need to move the pupil down a little. That's less important, though. I'll do that another time. But we'll see, we're seeing now, we're finding out. It's hard to see what we need to correct. It really is, huh? But what we're finding out right now is that the head is too small up top. Right, we've done everything correctly. Except, whoop. Oh, I was moving this, not the... So... Then... This is a situation... where... And we see that the ear is sort of in the right position. So we've got to go... What if we just kind of scale it, huh? Till it's the right size? How about that, then? And you're very right, it is very hard to see what we need to correct. I think that's the right thing, though. That needs to be taller, though, I think. So that's something I can just work right in. Okay. You know what? I will take that. Because its hair, it can flop around a little bit, you know? It doesn't have to be exact, it's just something similar to exact. And we see how much of this lines up with where it should be. On the ears. We see that the ears are... Actually, the ears are too high up now. So I'm gonna redo the ears really quick. We're gonna save a bunch here. I'm gonna save a bunch here. Oh, I really gotta get to bed sometime, huh? I've got things I need to do tomorrow. I've got homework, I've got... Well, just homework, really. Part of the intention with the ears being quite like this is to cover up all that empty space, you know? Similarly, we can similarize similarities similarly. So the ear should really be... We want to start about this height, huh? Go up to about there, huh? Whoopsie doopsie. We want to bring all you, please. Thank you. If we go... Oh, that's what we were missing, huh? Needs to be very forwardly driven. That way it covers the most space. And then we can draw this line on the inside to show that it goes inwards. And I kind of want to draw this like that to show that it's sort of like the crown. I don't know if that's actually what it's called, now that I think of it. That's pretty good, methinks. Yeah. Now, let's make a few other minor adjustments. Goes about the right. I think that this is just like a bit too big here. Oops. Just a bit too big. We can pretty much copy it exactly and just assume that it's somewhat round. You know? Yeah. That's sort of what I expect from this side profile. For a moment I was worried I did something wrong. So... I guess technically... No, that's normal. Let's see. Nice result, thank you. I think this is going really well so far. I'm really proud of myself for today. If I'm being honest, this is going really, really well. I just want to finish this head for tonight, and then I can end the stream and be happy about it. I just need to figure out how the heck I go from... Oh, well, I guess it'd be kind of like... What we should do while we're here... Whoopsies. We should draw in our neck at some point or another. Perhaps... something like... Whoa. Yeah, okay, I assume it'd be like this. Perhaps a little more back even. No, actually that's perfect. That's exactly where I want that neck, huh? Oh, hello, Professor Ramses. I don't have my audio for my... Well, a second. The music's gone. We'll put that. Has it not... I don't know what's up with the music. It doesn't like me right now. What were you up to? What I was trying to communicate was I don't actually have headphones on right now because they're not working. I did a bunch of stuff that sort of broke Bluetooth on my computer a little bit. So I had background music, but it seems to have decided to leave. I've just been working on my reference here. I've been trying to make a little reference for myself. I think it's going well. I'm not the best artist in the world, or my town, or my area, anything like that. I'm just out here doing my best. And you can see it's going alright. So what were you up to? Before I go and forget, I should say shout out for Final Fantasy. That would be 4 IV. 1 before 5, yeah. So Final Fantasy 4, that's pretty neato. Nice. I have, I think 9 or something like that for the PlayStation 1. But I haven't played it because the PlayStation 1 I have, I got it because I wanted to repair it, right? And I got the game because I wanted to test the game to see if the console worked. But the problem is that the console's problem is a misaligned laser, I think. Something along those lines that makes it hard for it to boot. And so it's not something I exactly have the stuff to fix, so I haven't really played that. But yeah, it's playing a copy I have on my PS3 actually. How interesting. I hope that went well. I should actually ask, did it go well? Did you have fun? Wario winning? What layer is that on, huh? Why is that on that layer? How silly of me. How preposterous and ridiculous. I think that ought to be more like that. Then... Super well, I didn't expect this version to run this well on PS3. Well, I'm glad it did. We've kind of got... I suppose... that this line here goes into your back, right? Just directly, when you're thinking about the way the body goes. And then this line kind of goes down a little more. It always helps me to get the shoulders and stuff in once I draw the collarbone. Right? Because the collarbone and the shoulder are extremely connected. I know it runs like crap on an actual PS1, but with all the fixes on the PS3, it improved the speed and the loading. That's pretty awesome, methinks. This isn't a terrible start. I'll let you go. Good luck on the art. Thank you, and thanks for the raid as well. I hope you had fun with the thingy thing. This kind of needs to go... It's tricky because this is where we actually need to worry about the shape of this. Which is tricky, you know? Oh boy, I need those heads back, don't I? The boxes, Put those back on. And thank you for the wishes of good luck. I hope that I have good luck too. The arm is actually... The shoulder's kind of... be... If we assume it's... I mean, obviously it should be straight down, but it wouldn't be exactly. Would it? It'd be kind of like that for the collarbone, wouldn't it? I don't know. Because shoulder line goes... I do think that that looks correct, right? Then we have ourselves... If I were to draw it as a cube, would that help me at all? Almost. In fact, if I draw it as a cube here, well, with the proposed center of mass as the center of mass on the cube as well. I think that's correct. Right? Because then... something like that, yeah. Oops. And then... that's like this distance, isn't it? We want to rotate that. Oops. Let's see. Okay, so that's obviously the wrong thing to be measuring. I mean, I can't have it be exactly the same length as it is here, right? Well, not exactly. Let's curve the spine. Oops. Curve the spine would go back out somewhere along here. Trying to think of the way the spine is curved, you know? Let's look at a skeleton. Skeleton? Skeleton? Okay, fine. So it actually goes... If I just search up side profile reference. Hum. Oh yeah, I guess profile usually just refers to the face. Oh, but I did say, didn't I? I did say I'd end the stream once I got the head down. So I guess we should focus a little more up here. Obviously we don't have an ear or anything like that. So something's gonna be laying on top of the shoulder. Then going back up that way, won't it? And then... wait, hang on. Wrong layer. Going on this layer. That's pretty much all I was really missing. How long ago was that raid? 10 minutes ago? Well, I've kind of got to go a little later. I'm out of water though. So what I'm gonna do is, that's about the length I wanted. Yeah, that's pretty much how I want it to look. I think. How do people do arms on the side profile? Full body, that's what we're after. People just do the arms at a different pose, huh? Kind of, sometimes. Over on this one's more helpful. So no, we don't have the collarbones quite like that, like I had drawn in so foolishly all those years ago. We would have one, though. And you can tell, if you, like, rub around the middle of your own collarbone, you can see that there's a part where the collarbone actually meets up, kind of. And it's farther forward than the neck trails down to. Sort of like that. Then that leads into your chest. But actually, this would be much steeper, wouldn't it? That's an underhand curve. I think this is correct. At least so far. What's tricky about it is that the arm is going to be... What's tricky about it is that there's an arm here-ish. Well, actually, I don't need to guess at all. Because we know exactly where it should be, don't we? Should be exactly there, huh? Should be exactly this size. Roughly this size. Okay, and then if we drag the same thing over to here, get almost the same result. That's kind of expected. That it's not exactly the same. Actually, over here is probably the better one to go off of, isn't it? Because this one... Oh, well, if the arms are at their side, though, then it would be this one. That's closest. Alright, we'll go with that then for now. Well, I hope... Let's see. I actually don't know what I'm up to. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what the haps is. Well, I do know that the arms should be going down to roughly there. And the elbow should be roughly there. Not roughly there. Huh. I mean, yeah, pretty much. I'm gonna put this at low opacity. That is the wrong layer. Can put this at lowered opacity so I can work through it. Because that's kind of, like, the arm is kind of the least important part about this. If I look here, we see that this should be like that. We see that it actually, whoops. This one actually wants it to go even further inwards, which I think is wild. The middle of this should be here-ish. Before it starts going out again. Then the widest point should be like there. We can do sort of like this. Huh. Oh, I guess that this goes in then, huh? Knees are about there. Ankle should be here. So it'd be kind of like that, huh? Then I'll do more iterations on it and stuff later. But this is a good start. Alright, and I'm gonna end stream now because it is 1:20 in the morning. And I should not still be streaming at this time. I should be going to bed. I should be eeping. I should be the eepiest eeper in the eeping west. Then we're gonna go bing. Gonna go raid a channel. Then there's quite a few. Do we have Selly? Do we have Selly? Is Selly an option? I don't know. Did Selly stream today? Well, we've certainly got Scout is someone I started following recently, isn't it? 18 plus only. I hope y'all are idle, but I can't guarantee that, so it's hard to raid into people in that way. Playing Mountain Blade 2 Bannerlord. If anyone has any recommendations, now is the time. Otherwise, I think we go into Doll. I can't hear Doll, which is a problem. But I think it'll be okay. I think I will turn up my own volume once I end stream, which I will do now. Clicking the start raid button. Thanks everyone very much for watching. I had lots of fun today. 2 hours, 42 minutes, not the longest ever technically, but it was still longer than I expected it to be. Since we started late and everything. Bye Pentapodes, hope you had fun. Hope your drawings weren't okay. I'll see you guys later. Bye.